is always a risky move for a multiplayer game, and it also didn't involve the downfall of any big-name developer, with it instead being the first game of the newly formed in-game studios. This might also answer the question of how this game came to be. The studio behind it were inexperienced. They knew that one of the hardest parts of getting started in the industry is simply getting your game noticed amidst so much competition, and so they spent a lot of their budget on the celebrity cast, but in the end weren't able to create a game that matched their ambitions. Game development is hard, and money and time can and often do run out. Good voice acting also requires more than just good actors, and what we see in game might be the result of poor direction and general inexperience with a production like this. So while crime boss Roque City is bad, it still only manages to baffle on a surface level, which is sufficient to make it the flavor of the month for a while, but not enough to leave a truly lasting legacy up there with the real giants of bad video games. Luckily though, 2023 would manage to produce a giant of its own. Gollum. Yes, as giants go, he may be on the smaller side, but a very small man-hobbit thing can still cast a large shadow, and the Lord of the Rings Gollum has done just that. This is a shining example of the most exclusive and elusive type of bad game. A game so bad that people struggle to understand it, and so bad that they can't help but pay attention to it. Gollum is the bad game your girlfriend told you not to worry about. A game so bad that it will leave its mark on gaming history and be remembered long after many better games have been forgotten. But we'll come back to Gollum later. He's not going anywhere. In the interest of thoroughness, I suppose we must at least acknowledge that there are other categories of bad games that could be mentioned. One of which might be a new entry to the group that has put forward a strong case for inclusion based on a stellar 2023 performance. The bad including me.
What I might find there.
Yeah, all that time waiting on GPU prices to come back down for your new build, and then this happens. Not so smart now, are we? Yeah, hopefully this trend doesn't continue. Another debatable category is cancelled games. A subject gamers love to romanticize with wistful thoughts of what could have been and accusing fingers pointed at pesky publishers, but the reality is, games get cancelled for a reason, and if time and money do run out, then a cancelled game might be better than a bad one. At the very least though, bad games and cancelled games do have something important in common, with the main difference often coming down to a single decision. Usually though, this is a decision made behind closed doors and made earlier rather than later. But 2023 does provide at least one example where this wasn't the case. Hyenas, from Total War developer Creative Assembly and publisher Sega, was an online multiplayer extraction shooter that was basically finished. It had a closed beta where many people played the game. Spent a month. It was Creative Assembly's and Sega's highest budget game of all time.
And to think,
and yet, just months before its expected release, Sega made the decision to cancel the game entirely, citing concerns around its profitability. If a bad game is measured by its degree of failure, then a major publisher's most expensive game ever made, not even making it to release despite being effectively finished, is a near unprecedented level of failure. It is catastrophic for the developers involved, if no one else, and it raises the important question of how many other bad games have been stolen from the world by cancellations. After all, if a game is so bad it needs to be cancelled, it suggests it's even worse than the bad games that do release. And if this is true, how many terrible masterpieces might we have been denied over the years? What tragedy there might be with market saturation. Soon a second generation of home consoles appeared that offered more than just Pong, but the damage was already done. Consumers lost confidence, retailers struggled to shift stock, and Magnavox filed lawsuits, all of which resulted in the video game crash of 1977. Pong was not a bad game, but its hundreds of cheap imitations were, and they temporarily brought the entire industry down around them. So, at the birth of gaming, bad games were serious business and did as much to shape the industry of third-party development. And within a few years, third-party games were everywhere. Companies rushed to cash in on the once more growing market by producing cheap, poorly made games that filled retail shelves. Consumers then had no way to determine the quality of these games without buying them, and once people started getting burnt, they stopped buying. This was a time before the internet, before many reviews, established names had been established. Consumers simply weren't protected, and everyone was close. One hope should have been Atari themselves. They were the ones that brought the home console market back to the brink of 2600, the ones who had created hit titles like Asteroids, and the one who were in that period the fastest growing company in American history. And they were the face of the gaming industry. But even Atari made bad games. The most famous combined retro game reviews with a foul-mouthed, short-tempered persona to take viewers back to the past to play shitty games that sucked ass. And it was a winning strategy. And so, the era of the angry reviewer took off, where the angrier the reviewer was, the better.
I'll admit, your stubbornness impresses me.
Gaming media had
I'm beginning to like you
was, in a way, counterbalanced.
How a fucking piece of dog shit. This game is diarrhea coming out of my dick.
To me, the Silent Hill series is only free of my own vertebrae, kill my spine back, and eat my own
More than the subject matter, and as the gaming content ecosystem grew, so too did the targets and the rhetoric. Because negativity
I'll admit,
sells.
your stubbornness impresses
Say
me.
what you like,
Beginning to like
YouTubers,
you more.
but they do love to give their audience what they want, and often they want blood. And no target is easier to make bleed than a bad game. Unlike, say, criticizing a person, bad games don't ever respond to you, meaning you can say whatever you like. Bad games also don't tend to have fan bases who care about them, making criticizing them controversial. Because a small niche developer targeting progressively more ambitious and higher budget games while gradually expanding their development team is exactly the route that another now rather
Your thoughts are clever. Lust is everything. Fate of an enthrall is the only thing. Pain is illusion. There is only pleasure. If I don't finish it, Rusna will be
say goodbye to Baldur's Gate 3, or The Witcher 3, or others, because that is the path they took. However, sometimes it goes right, and sometimes it goes wrong. Failure happens.
Pain is illusion. There is only pleasure.
At least to consumers. I can even say that games so much widely consumed good content that they actually create a net positive in the world. And, you know, even the angriest of reviewers kind of look like they might have the entire game.
Embrace my fear. If I don't finish it, Rusna will be found.
Yet, instead of being treated as harmless and
Your thoughts are clever. Lust is everything.
So bad, we seem to treat examples like this as a personal attack on the world of gamers, as if the developer has done something morally wrong by daring to make a game so bad.
Your resistance means nothing. You are nothing.
What the fuck?
Fate of an enthrall is the only.
But you guys now the gamers.
Every once in a while a game comes along that's so disgraceful in its launch that it shames the entire medium of gaming.
You're all mine.
Is the Lord of the Rings.
We have eternity.
Severely underestimated Daedalus. Daedalus, my balls!
Should be criticized, and they certainly can be mocked, but they shouldn't be hated. The MMO genre, we must obviously start at where it all began, the first MMO. But what is the first MMO? Back before smartphones, before social media, before the turn of the millennium, before the internet was publicly accessible, and before any of Sony, Microsoft or Nintendo had ever made a gaming console, video games were barely even a thing yet. This dark time, also known as the 1970s, wouldn't last long, however, as just as Prometheus once stole fire from the gods to give to us lucky lesser mortals, so too did some brave pioneers take the early mainframe and mini-computers of the 1970s and start creating programs not for advanced computational functions, but just for fun.
How on earth?
Have to go
Why
this
can't
far
you
back,
just fucking die?
because this will be
Just
important.
let go!
This is the end,
See, in
John.
1972,
The
we
end
got the
that I
first
now
video game,
understand.
and you've probably
Kill me.
heard of it.
But let Amanda go,
Pong
please.
looks like
You
this.
still
and
don't
yeah,
understand
that's
anything.
pretty cool, I
You
guess.
live in fear like an
If you're a
animal.
fucking loser.
But that's
I mean,
all right.
what is this basic shit?
You also
How is
shall know
anyone
the
going to
end of the
escape this
story.
mundane reality and forget all their
Just
problems
need time.
with
Cut the
Pong?
bullshit.
You
End
know
it all.
how you can
That is
tell
the plan.
Pong sucks?
I came to
Its
say
creators
goodbye.
called it Pong.
I'm
Good
leaving,
games are not
Forever.
called Pong. Come
but
on.
I am leaving
No,
my idea.
you see, if you were stuck
This
in the 1970s
It
and you
is
wanted the
eternal.
good stuff, text-based
Ideas
games.
are always
That was where it was
eternal.
actually at. And you could tell they were
What
good
the
because
fuck?
they had cool names like Adventure, Dungeon, and Zork. And you know what else was good names? And so, hello,
We need
Fortnite,
to run.
Roblox.
Let's get this over with.
It's
It's
my
not your
fault.
fault. It's him. It's all him.
It's not how you think it is. Nothing is.
No, come on, babe. Forget all this crazy shit. It's over. I love you. Do you get it? We still have each other.
You can't. Jonathan, I've done terrible things.
He made you. You know that.
No. Jonathan, I enjoyed it. I wanted it. I wanted all
You're
of it.
acting crazy. Please, I beg you. Let's just go.
I wanted it so much. I enjoyed it so much. Nothing else mattered. Leave me. Leave me alone. Oh, it's what I wanted. Oh, God.
Listen, you're pretty convincing. Now let's talk about this when we leave this damn place. Right now, know one thing. I love you, and nothing will change that. I went through another fucking dimension to stand before you now and tell you that. Let this not be wasted. Let everything we've been through not be wasted. We're close. Just a little more. Baby, what are you doing?
Candles. Those fucking candles everywhere. It's time to give it a truly romantic setting. One this place deserves.
I'm starting to get used to these power cuts. Is she joking?
Let's fuck.